Okay, I just want to spend a couple of minutes in talking about the difference between superannuation and your will. There is a very significant misconception out there that your will covers everything and can deal with your superannuation fund assets. In most cases that is not the case, and in today's current climate of people tending to have a large portion of the wealth inside the self-managed super fund, it is really important that the will and the superannuation documents fit in together and, if you like, respect each other to make sure that a person's estate planning is appropriately covered. I'll just draw a couple of quick diagrams. This is your typical self-managed super fund. Okay, there might be dad who's got dollars in there, and mum who's got dollars in there. Then over here we have, we'll call it the estate. We'll call it the estate of dad. I always pick on dad dying first, so this is dad's estate. Okay, and he might have a house. Well, let's say he's got a rental property. Okay, let's say he's got some cash. Let's say he's got some shares. And he might have a few other things. Okay. Now, these assets that are owned in dad's name are dealt with in accordance with dad's will. And a will is a legal document, and it's got all sorts of stuff in it, and that will determines what happens with dad's assets. What it does not include is dad's superannuation death benefits, because superannuation death benefits are not owned by the individual. They are held inside a self-managed or a superannuation fund, and in this case we're talking about a self-managed super fund, so effectively held in trust. So dad has an entitlement to a certain sum of money, but they don't form part of his estate. A really critical thing to understand. So when dad dies, the superannuation trustees, and again I'm talking about a self-managed super fund, the superannuation trustees decide who gets the money. Now, the critical thing is that under SIS, which is the superannuation law, to make it simple, those death benefits must be paid to a dependent of dad. Now, typically, always a spouse is a dependent, and children of the deceased are dependents. Can also be persons with whom dad may be living in an interdependent relationship. That's another example. So dad's death benefits have to go to one of these people, have to go to a dependent. The trustees decide. So it's important that we understand who the trustees are going to be on dad's death, because they're the people that dad wants to make the appropriate decision to ensure his death benefits go where he wants them to. Now there's two options, two major options. One is they can leave the fund and go to a certain person. Okay, could be mum, could be kids. Okay, provided they're dependents, then they can go there. Okay, but what happens if dad wants his superannuation benefits, to go somewhere else, or he's not quite sure who the trustees will be or in control of the super fund when he dies, for various reasons, so therefore he may plan to do things slightly differently. One of the things he can do is say, or leave instructions through a binding nomination to say, on my death, and he's saying this to the trustees of the super fund, on my death, I want my death benefits to go into my estate. Okay? Now he can specifically direct that, and provided that document is executed correctly, then on his death those superannuation benefits will go to his estate. Now once they do, I'll call that SDB, that's superannuation death benefits, if he directs them to be paid to his estate, then yes, dad's will determine where they go. Okay, an important point. Just to reiterate that, dad's super benefits will not be dealt with according to his will unless he specifically directs them there through some form of binding nomination. The alternative, or the other possibility, is the trustees on dad's death may determine or decide to pay those death benefits to dad's estate, and then again they would be dealt with under the will. Important point, estate planning, superannuation succession planning must consider that. You need to come and talk to us to put that in place. Thanks for watching.